Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Elise for those of you that are new. Today we've got a little bit of a unique video. Waffle Flower Crafts is celebrating their 6th anniversary and we are doing a special hop and feature on our top 6 favorite Waffle Flower Crafts products. Now, before we get started, I did want to let you know, if you are currently watching this video on my blog, be sure that you comment so that you can be entered to win the giveaway. And then be sure that you go over to Instagram because there's a giveaway there as well. So many chances to win from such a wonderful company. I hope that you enjoy a look at my products. So I just wanted to overview first. Here are my top 6 products. So number 1 is going to be my craft room favorite. Number 2 is just my general must-have. Number 3 is something that I suggest that you use if you want to pump up a card. Number 4, easy scene building. Number 5, my favorite critters. Number 6 is my favorite overall stamp set. And then I've got some bonus organizational picks for you. So let's get into it with my craft room favorite, which of course is the water media mat and the mini mat. Here is a look at the water media mat. It is such a wonderful surface for ink blending, for watercoloring. I just love it. It's unbelievably fantastic. It sticks to your table so things don't move around. And then the cardstock that you place in it sticks to it. So you don't really need to use a ton of adhesive to hold down your cardstock in place. It's this wonderful, smooth, buttery surface. It's got the wells. You can put that on the right side or on the left side. See, that's where I'm showing you it sticks to my table. I've got a glass table. You can see my chairs. Those little wells are perfect for mini ink cubes. It is such a wonderful product. I just adore it so much. Now we are going to take a look at ink blending on this surface. When I show you this ink blending, you'll see that this mat is stained. I have 2. I have one that I keep pretty for videos and one that I use and get messy, and it doesn't bother me if it gets stained. Now, the vast majority of products will not stain this mat. I've never had staining with distress oxide inks or anything like that. Most of the staining that I've found is with dye-based inks and only really with the pink and purple tones. I am just showing you here how I ink blend. It's so easy to go off of the on the surface and then blend onto the cardstock. I always blend on Bristol smooth cardstock. But it's also nice because typically when you blend on a surface, you lose the ink that you would have otherwise used by starting off of the cardstock and blending on. But because of the properties of this mat, you can actually pick up that ink and use it again. This mat is such a staple. I use it basically every single time I craft. So of course this had to be my number 1 pick from Waffle Flower. It's great if you do mixed media or watercolor, and I don't do really either of those things. I just do a lot of ink blending, and I was finding that some of the other craft mats I were using just weren't holding up. This one has just been such a joy. I obviously love it so much because I bought a second. It's just unbelievably wonderful. Now, this past year, they came out with this palette paper. This is like a smooth, buttery smooth paper that fits perfectly into the frame of your mat. So as you can see, I'm putting in that paper and it protects your mat from staining. So do as I do, not as I say, and be sure that you line your mat if you don't want staining. For a lot of people, the staining doesn't bother them. Like, it doesn't bother me when my stamps get stained. I just want a clean background for my videos, which is why I bought a second one. Now, I'll be leaving that palette paper in for the rest of my video. This year, actually in 2020, they came out with this little mini media mat. It's like the little baby version. It was actually made so that you could take it on a plane or you work in like a really small surface. So the little well area for your card is 5x7. And here in a second, I'll show you what an A2 size panel looks like in there. I often use the little mini guy as well. Both of them are fabulous. If you were only to get one, I'd say go for the big one unless you have a really constrained space, in which case the small one would probably be your pick. I love these mats so much. Highly, highly, highly recommend if you don't already have them. For my second pick, this is my must-have product, which is the A2 layers dies and additional A2 layers dies. These are always out of stock, and they're always coming back into stock because they are so, so popular. If you are like me, and for some bizarre reason, you cannot cut anything straight, save your life. These little guys are my life savers. They crisp, clean edges, all of the layers. One set, the first set that came out, which is the set on the left, it left an 1/8 of an inch border. And now with the additional A2 layers, it will now make it so that you can only have a 1/16 of a border. So if you really like layering your cardstock and adding backers to it, then these are definitely something that you want to pick up. Again, I essentially use these in every single card that I make. I love them a lot and highly, highly recommend them. Here is a look at some of the cards that I have made using these dies. Basically, anytime I have a little rectangle pop up on my card, you can pretty much bet I use these dies. I love them so much, and definitely think that they would be a worthwhile addition to any crafter's stash and something that you would definitely use a lot. So now, this is kind of an interesting one. What I use to pump up a card. So oftentimes I'll color like a big critter or something like that, and I don't want to just put it straight onto like an ink blended panel or something like that. I want to do a little something special. I'm always reaching for these cover plate dies. So I've got the diamond texture, the circle texture, and the A2 grid. These are fantastic and just make any card look just a little bit more exciting. So back to the card that we were making earlier. I have got this image. She is so cute. I've colored her off screen. And now I need to take that panel and, I could add her directly to that ink blended panel, or I could pump her up a little bit. So I'm trying to see which one I like. So I've got the circle texture out, and I've also got the diamond texture. And I'm just trying to see which one I think she would look better on. And then I will add her to that. I'll die cut out that ink blended panel with one of these cover plates. And like I said, it just adds a little something, something. I really like the circles for her just because, that skirt is very circular. So here are some cards that I have made. So this is the diamond texture on a distress oxide background. It's a little bit hard to see here, but there are the little stitch lines from the diamond texture. Really, really great. And I love how this one turned out. I feel like I always have these big images colored and just need something just to pump it up and make my card look a little bit more professional. So here is that card finished, the panel that we ink blended earlier, and just those little stitch circles, and it just adds a little something, and I really, really love it. Now for my A2 grid, I don't have that card with me. I have since mailed it out. But here is an example of a card that I've made. You don't have to fill the grid squares, but they're there if you need them. Now for my fourth favorite product, I love this Cloudscape Panel Die for easy scene building. Sometimes you just don't want to do a whole ton of work to make your scene building come to life, but this panel die is so fantastic. Here's an example with these little artists, and I rainbow watercolored the background, and you can see the little cloud cutouts there and the grass. It just makes it so simple because sometimes I don't want to pull out a bunch of stencils and different dies to make this work. It's one die and you get the scene completely done. Here's another example of a card with a little bit more traditional coloring so that you can see how this Cloudscape die comes to life. I love it so much, and if scene building intimidates you, then this is what you need. For my fifth favorites, I've got my favorite critter stamps, the Group Hug and Bear Hugs stamp sets. I just love these group images with the illustrations from Big Bird and Bear. They're so sweet. Obviously, the image on the left with the giraffe is much larger than the image on the right. Both come with fantastic sentiments. I think it's everything that we wish we could send in a card, which is a hug. And so, of course, these are my favorites for my favorite critter images. They're so sweet. And for those of us that maybe don't enjoy so much thinking through exactly what we're going to put on our card, they fill up the space so perfectly. So obviously you can see there's some familiar faces on both sets, but I just adore these images so much. Now let's look at some cards that I have made. So I've got this one, that's more simple, and one that has a little bit more going on with the craft cardstock frame. But I love both, and I adore these critters so much. Okay, my last favorite is the All Occasion set, which is Jars of Happiness and Jars of Sentiments. Oh my goodness, when these came out this year, I just fell in love. I think that the little flower images are so sweet. They're very in style, I feel like, for right now. Very modern looking. Something that I feel like I would find like real life in the pages of like Magnolia Journal or something like that. The sentiment set that coordinates has such amazing sentiments, from happy birthday to thank you to encouragement, I love you, things like that. They're so fantastic. So here's a look at some of the cards that I have made with this stamp set. I've used it so many times. It's a huge workout in my craft room just because it's right now it is my go-to favorite. Okay, some bonus favorites. We're going to look at the cloud storage system. I think that this is so underhyped, I guess, from Waffle Flower are these storage pockets. They are so thick. I've never had one rip on me. They've got an interior pocket so you can put the dies in the back and the stamp set in the front. They're beautiful to look at, fun colors. And if you buy a combo from Waffle Flower, meaning you buy the stamps and the dies together, they come in these storage pockets, and it's fantastic. You can also get on independently this the die storage as well, the magnetic boards. I think that they're also very fantastic, very thick, very high quality. I just love these products so much. You can see how that magnet board slips in right into where the die storage is. And it's got that white on the front, and it creates, you don't need the white cardstock inside. So here is a little miniature version for 3x4 stamp sets. Again, these pockets are fantastic, high quality. I highly recommend them. Another bonus product is the color swatch combo. I feel like most of us are constantly trying to organize our craft rooms, and this set is so fantastic to do that. There are so many different uses for this. You can swatch Copic markers, watercolors, inks, zig markers, Artisan markers, any kind of markers or ink or watercolors that you have. It's so fantastic. And if you get the combo that comes with the dies, it comes with this really handy sheet that shows you, okay, if you have 12 12 things you want to swatch out, how many should you use and what die should you use. It's really fantastic. I have used it to make this color chart for my favorite zig combos. As you could see, I only needed 3 rows of these color combos, and I just wrote the name, laminated it. I use this all of the time, and I want to get better at swatching my watercolors as I get more into that. So I love this product So fantastic and so well thought out. So my last one is the A2 disc bound system and the color combos die. This is so much fun. So you can create your own disc bound organization systems. So you can, I have this done for my dye-based inks. I've seen this done for swatching Copic markers, anything really. And I love that they have these little discs and that they're colorful and fun. Just such a thoughtful product to make you want to get organized and swatch out what you have and really get a better feel for what you have and a better organization of your craft space. So here's my little inks by color. So I open it up and we're on the pink tab, and here are all of my pink inks. And then I've got all the other tabs. So red, orange, yellow, green, an aqua, a blue, a purple, a brown, and a gray. So much fun. I reference this all of the time, so I think it's really, really worthwhile to have and to make. You can see that it comes with the tabs on the color combos die. And you can also, with the regular A2 die disc set, you can make smaller disc bounds, larger. The possibilities are endless, and I think you could find a lot of uses for this. Thank you so much for watching this video and hearing more about my favorites from Waffle Flower Crafts. Please be sure that you either go over to my blog and comment, or also go over on Instagram and leave a comment so that you can enter to win the really generous giveaways that we're doing to celebrate. And happy 6th anniversary, Waffle Flower. I am so happy and delighted and honored to be on your design team. I hope that you subscribe to see more from me, and I'll catch you in the next one.